Hey guys, WWE Fan Talk here. Today I'm going to show you guys my Elite Seth Rollins collection. Let's get to it. So starting off with the first Seth Rollins, this is one of my newest Seth Rollins. This is, I believe, the Elite 64, sorry, I was drawing a blank right there, but Elite 64 Seth Rollins. This is arguably my favorite Seth Rollins, mostly because of the head scan, because look at how awesome that head scan is. That new technology with the head scan, it's just printed on, it looks perfect. I also added the Burn It Down shirt. It did not come with it, but if you do get the Shield 3-pack battle pack thing, or not battle pack, 3-pack, then you will get that shirt. But here you have the flames around the tights, and these flames are just insane, guys. Like, the amount of detail they put in this is just amazing. I know a lot of people are trying to make customs for a while, but I'm glad that we finally got the main product. Also has the SR for Seth Rollins right there, just the basic black kick pads. And if you take off the shirt, it's pretty much just like any other Seth Rollins. So there's that Seth Rollins. Let's get to the next one. So next up, we have the... I keep forgetting the names of these guys. We have the Top Picks Seth Rollins. I really like this one as well. It's not as, detailed up just because it's more of a generic attire. So yeah, there's the head scan, same exact head scan. That one looks pretty cool as well. And then over here you have the SR wrist wraps, which I think is pretty cool how they add that detail. They also added the belt buckle logo. The only thing that's kind of bugging me about this attire is that, he did have like a shinier version of the black, and then he had more of a dull looking black, just kind of like a matte finish type look to it. But, they didn't add any of the lines or anything like that. It's just a solid black, which is fine. I'm so glad we're getting this attire. You also have the SR logo there as well. It's pretty much the same exact Seth Rollins as the Flames one, the Elite 64 one, but this is definitely one of my favorite Seth Rollins figures. Highly recommend picking it up. And you could also go to Ringside Collectibles and use discount code Tanner, TANNER, all caps, to save 10% at checkout. Let's get to the next Seth Rollins. So here's the next Seth Rollins. This is a bit of a custom. I don't exactly remember what Seth Rollins this is. Actually, no, I think it is the Walmart exclusive Shield 3-pack. It is coming back to me. But I did swap the head just because it came with the blonde streaks. But, this head is kind of a defect. It was the only one I could find. But, as you can see, there's like a beard kind of going into his mouth and just kind of cuts off. But if you look at it from a distance, it looks a little better. It doesn't bother me that much. I just wanted more of an updated Seth Rollins head scan. And I think that the screaming look looks perfect for this Seth Rollins figure. This is a generic Shield body with the Shield vest. Pretty cool Seth Rollins. I like this custom. I think it's pretty cool. And that is it for this Seth Rollins. Let's move on. Here we have the SummerSlam 2017 Seth Rollins. And this is definitely one of my favorite gears that he's ever worn. Maybe not one of my favorite figures, but definitely one of my favorite gears. The only problem I've ever had with this figure is that I feel like it's not shiny enough. So maybe like in the future, if they ever come up with like a shiny paint to it or something like that, it might look a lot better. But it's still a pretty good looking figure. I do like how they added the detail with the kick pad, or whatever you want to call these, in the back over here, how he usually has that with his gears. But this is a Deadpool inspired figure, and I think it definitely resembles that. Also, definitely one of the best Seth Rollins head scans. I don't know how I feel about this. I like the sculpting. I don't know how I feel about the scan. I've always thought that kind of looked weird. We'll get into the one similar to this later that I'll tell you I like more. But yeah, pretty cool looking Seth Rollins. Comment down below if this is one of your favorites. And then coming up next on the list, we have one of the newest Seth Rollins that has just recently came out with the Shield 3-pack, the Shield Reunites, Seth Rollins. And this is a cool looking figure. I do like the tights a lot. The only problem, there's like flaws throughout the figure and stuff and whatnot. Like the black kick pads, they weren't necessarily black. They're more kind of roughed up. So if they added more of a blackish or roughed up look to the gear, it would have looked a lot better. It was not this bright. It was more of kind of like that, just way darker. And they also didn't add the lines going up and stuff. So it's kind of like, a fantasy attire, I guess you could say. It's not even like a real attire that he's actually worn. So, it's supposed to be, but it's really not. And then this head scan, I've always kind of liked this Seth Rollins head scan. Of course, mine has a little defect to it. There is the paint kind of going up on the lip. I still like the Seth Rollins a lot, though. Pretty cool. Not the most detailed figure, but I like it a lot. Let's move on. Moving on, we have the Elite, I believe, what, like 58, 59, in that area, 57, 58, 59 area. Comment down below if you remember what series this is from. But this is hands down one of the best Seth Rollins, just because the amount of sculpting and detail they added throughout this figure. They're definitely new leg sculpts, I think it was. I think they're new leg sculpts. Yeah, because they actually have like texture and stuff on them, like bumps and all that. But, you know, I like how they gave the thicker look for the legs, like the bigger legs. Because for a while, you know, all the other Seth Rollins Elites come with the kind of like skinny legs. So I thought it was cool how they did that. They also did sculpt on these kind of feather things that he wore for this gear. And I like how they added that kind of roughed up look on the gear as well. Same with the kick pads. The gold is very awesome. They didn't sculpt it on the kick pads, which is totally fine. I don't really care. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. I like this Seth Rollins head sculpt a lot more than the other one I was talking about, the Summerslam one, just because the Summerslam one had the printed technology thing, and I feel like this one definitely looks a lot better, it looks a lot more like Seth Rollins than the other one does. But yeah, pretty cool looking Seth Rollins. Let's move on. And then next up, we have the Then, Now, and Forever Walmart exclusive Seth Rollins. This is when he returned at Extreme Rules and pedigreed Roman Reigns and held up the WWE Championship. Everybody was pretty psyched. I was pretty psyched. I was actually at a party at the time, so when I looked up WWE.com and I saw that Seth Rollins return, I was like, what the heck? No way. This is the best thing ever. So this gear is, you know, one of my favorites just because of that. I've always kind of liked this gray gear. I wish he would have worn it more often, or, you know, pulls it out, but it's pretty nice gear. Not the greatest gear, not the most detailed gear, but, you know, I was really excited when they came out with this figure, just because, you know, this is when he returned and made that epic, you know, return, and then won the WWE Championship, and then got cashed in and all that good stuff. But this came with the Screaming head scan, which I do not hate, but, you know, it would have been nice if we got a different head scan or something like that, just because this is not the greatest Seth Rollins head sculpt. Maybe we got something like that over there. I like that one a lot. But we'll get into that in a little bit, so let's move on, guys. Then moving on, we have the SummerSlam, I think 2016, SummerSlam 2016 Seth Rollins, when he fought in the first ever Universal title match. This is the Tron Gear. It's a little roughed up, and to be honest, on the camera it looks a lot more green and a lot more accurate than it does in person. In person, it's kind of like faded out and has this weird look to it, but on camera it actually looks a lot more accurate to how it looked on TV. For some reason, mine had this kind of like roughed up chest hair look to it, and I don't even know what that is. I don't even know. And then the head scan is the Screaming head scan, which I think looks pretty good for, with this figure. But, you know, this is a very cool Seth Rollins. I think you can go on Amazon and get it for like 15 bucks or something like that. Pretty good price. Or you could go to Ringside Collectibles and use that discount code. But pretty cool Seth Rollins. We're going down to the last two. So the last two Seth Rollins are not that exciting. They're more roughed up than anything. So we'll start with this one. This is still a pretty cool figure, but I'm going to get into this. Look at how awful this head scan is. Now I'm going to get to the story behind this. The story behind this is I was trying to do a head swap, you know. I watch all these videos and stuff, and I did the hairdryer trick, and I've learned not to hairdry the front the whole time, just because I went to pop off the head, and the chin kind of came off, and it smeared all over his face, and then just kind of messed up the entire head scan. Now it looks like something evil and just horrible. I'm going to find a different Seth Rollins head scan for this one. But yeah, and then it is pretty roughed up, but it has all the gold and that kind of stuff. This is an older figure from like 2016, but this is one of the most iconic Seth Rollins gears in my opinion. So there is that one. And then last but certainly not least, might be the least, look at this head scan, it looks pretty cool. And then this is the custom. And so here is the custom next to the actual thing. This thing is just so much better than this. Blech. Yeah, this thing is just so much better. This is just, oh, look at that. But these are the two best Seth Rollins head scans in my opinion. But yeah, pretty roughed up, very cool. Comment down below if you like my Seth Rollins collection. I know that there's people that have like 100 Seth Rollins or whatever out there. This is my Seth Rollins collection. I do need to get the white attire Seth Rollins. Comment down below if you want to see that video review. Thanks for watching, guys. WWE Fan Talk Show, out.